something else, right? And like I said, the pooping thing, it was a gradual thing. So in the beginning, it was in my head and in my sister's head, we're thinking, okay, all right, he be on his phone all the time. He playing his game all the time. Maybe he just used the bathroom and be rushing to go back to his phone and don't be pulling up, like don't be wiping correctly. All right. So boom, that was the first thing. Cause it like I said, it started small, but as my son kept doing it and kept being sneaky, and it was like the underwear everywhere, and it's like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm asking him and he's not telling me nothing. I'm getting angry. So for not 2 months, but for however many of the weeks, whether it was the last month, I mean, I don't remember like when it got really, really bad, but I do know it got bad to the point where he was pooping 3 times a day in his pants, not even going to the bathroom, not even attempting to, because before he was still on the toilet, it got to the point where he wasn't even attempting to take his pants off, just pooping in his pants, and then he'd sit in it. Then he would sit in it and wouldn't tell you. So if you're not around, you don't smell my man. I live in a big house. If he's chilling downstairs and then I walk downstairs and he's been downstairs for who knows how long or whenever he pooped, if I don't smell it, I don't know. Or when he goes to school, he was coming home from school with poopy diapers. So it got really, really bad. But as it's progressing to get bad, as it's getting worse, I'm angry because I don't understand what's going on with him. And again, I was never thinking in my head, maybe he got touched, because I honestly have 5 friends. Like, my son sit at my house or my mom's house. That's it. I don't have nobody else. He don't be nowhere else. So I'm never thinking, yeah, that's a symptom of molestation, because who the fuck touched him? So I'm not bending him over when I'm bathing him or I'm wiping him even. And my son is very much so independent. When I get him in the bath, I put soap on his rag, I let him do what he do. He's not a baby. He's not a baby. So for y'all to question how I didn't know, you're right. I question myself too. And I can look back now and say, oh, when he said this or when he said that, that's what he meant. But he wasn't telling me that. So how was I supposed to know? You don't think that if I would have found out when it happened, that this shit wouldn't have been resolved already? Sorry, I'm getting loud. I didn't know. Okay, I travel. I mean, my sister lives with me, so she can help me with him. So when I'm not home, she's here with him to help me make sure he gets to school and everything like that. With everything I have going on. So you're right. I missed something. And I'm always have to wear that. I'll always wear that. This hurts me so much. Because I have to wear that at the end of the day. I have to wear that because of who did it. It was my guest, my company that I brought into my house. I left him here. That's something I live with. I don't give a fuck who believe or don't believe. It doesn't matter what anybody believes or don't believe. It only matters who's important enough that needs to believe. That's it. Didn't know. Okay? It's hard as a parent. I'm young and I try my best. And it's definitely a life lesson that I learned. And it was the hard way. But I hope that it can shed light to people, to other girls. Because at the end of the day, I don't play about my kid. I really don't. I don't play about my company. I'm so like this with my son. Like everybody who know me know how I am with my kid. It's like this with us. We like this. I'm never nowhere without him. He'd be here right now, but I don't want him to be here, so he's at my mom's. We always together. You see me, you see him. But and then on top of that, and then you will never see him in an environment that a child should never be in. Wouldn't do no shit like that. I wouldn't lie because, like, I'll take that blame. I'll take the blame. I'll take that blame. I'll take, you know, why didn't you know? Why you ain't people? I'll take that shit. Sometimes we get wrapped up in our own lives and shit be going on and stuff, you know. If something happens to a kid, they don't want to say nothing, so you miss shit. It's just like when you're in a relationship and you missing red signs. You got the flags in your face, but you can't see it. You don't understand. You can't see it, so you skip it. I didn't understand. And when I was raised, my parents yelled at me for everything. So, you know, I'm very strict because my dad was very strict. And I just handled it the way that I, you know, I grew up and how I handled it. And I tried my best to figure out what was wrong with him. But I was angry. I was angry with him because I didn't understand. I didn't get it. I would tell him, like, you're not going to get in trouble for telling me that you had to poop. Like, why are you not telling me? Like, why do you want to be in poop all day? Like, I'm talking to his teachers, my parents, his dad, me, all my friends, like, even him, even David, who I was dating while all this was going on. I will call him on the phone, crying. I don't know what to do with Wesley. Like, he just keeps pooping in his pants. I don't get it. My mom said once I should take him to the doctor. She didn't imply, like, molestation, but she just said you should take him to the doctor. And I was saying, why would I take him to the doctor? Like, what's wrong with him? Like, I don't know why he's doing this, but there's nothing wrong with him. Like I didn't understand what was going on. So I was just like, I'm just thinking it's like a phase or something. Like, you know, like his teacher was saying maybe he's just nervous because of kindergarten. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought maybe he was just growing into his body and you know, maturing, and maybe he just didn't want anyone touching him. I don't know. I never thought that. So I missed everything. At the end of the day, you don't see that shit. Like, you don't see it. Like, if somebody don't want to tell you something, they ain't gonna tell you. And you gotta read behind the lines, but I ain't thinking there was no lines to read behind. Like, I asked my son to be okay, he said, yeah, that's it. Unless he's acting extremely weird. But my son is strong. Like, he's like me. Like, he holds me down. Like, he's the man of the house. Like, he went through that and didn't even tell me for 2 months. That's how strong he is. So yeah, I'm upset that I wasn't able to be there for him when he was going through this. Like, I was too busy dating this fuck nigga in this fuck nigga face. I didn't see what my son was going through. My baby daddy, who's in prison, he hate me. And he have all right. Imagine being in prison and you can't do nothing. You can't see your child. If I'm lying, why would I do that to my baby father? That was that's the second hardest things I ever had to hear was him cry on that jail phone. And now he's in solitary confinement because I don't know what he was doing, but they locked him up now. He's by himself. And I don't know what's going on with him right now. So, this affects my whole family. I wouldn't even show my face on the internet if I was to lie on some shit like this. That's some sick shit. And no, you can't tell when people are sick. You can't. I could not tell that he dealt with that type of shit. At the end of the day, I knew that David dealt with stuff. He always talked about dealing with demons and whatever. But I'm thinking that's just the normal shit. Like, he's from where he's from. He's in the streets. Like, he just deals with that shit. I didn't know that he dealt with this shit. I couldn't have seen that. David was so good with my son. And I look back at it and it raises flags that I didn't know, because I just think it's cute that my boyfriend wants to be close to my son. I thought it was like, you know, when you date me, essentially you with my son, but don't get it confused, because my son is not around every nigga that I've ever dated. So also don't think that either. That's also a misconception of the story. You know what I'm saying? My son's not around every nigga. That's cap. That's cap. He had a relationship with this one, though. David would call him, like, let's say me and David, we fighting or something. He'd call my son, go tell your mom I said sorry, da-da-da. So he would call, he had a relationship with my son. My son trusted him. My son, you know, when he came to my house the first time, my son showing him all his secret hiding spots where he be hiding his candy. He telling David all his sneaky links on the phone and stuff, because he know I don't let him watch certain stuff on YouTube, and he's opening up to David telling him this shit. And so he built a bond with my son. And after this whole thing happened, right, when I found out, my son had his first football game and he won MVP. First time ever playing. He was MVP. He was so happy. He took his phone. He sent everybody pictures of his medal. He sends a picture to David's phone. I didn't have David's phone number blocked on my son's phone because I just wanted to keep it open in case he texted some crazy shit or whatever. I wanted to monitor it. And I looked at Wesley and I said, Wesley, why did you send him this? He's not your friend. He goes, I know. But he said sorry. So my son is battling with the fact that this man violated him, but is his friend, still called him after it, said sorry to him. He's 5. So he's battling with, he's confused. And it was that much confusion of me still dating this man. So yeah, he showed a picture of me in his house September 15th. I didn't know September 15th. I found out October 1st. I had no idea. I don't know what you're proving. Like, you're